that cuts to the truth, no matter how painful it might be, and no BS. Citizen Smith, Citizen Smith, Citizen Smith.
Here's a man who would not take it anymore. A man who stood up against the scum, the dogs, the filth. Here is someone who stood up.
It's time for Citizen Smith.
Good morning. 9 o'clock Pacific time here in the gorgeous city of Roses, Portland, Oregon. Citizen Smith, 9 to 9:30. We keep it short, but we keep it fruitful of news and issues of the state, the city, the nation, and the world. Thursday, September 23rd.
I'm just a little chucklehead today. I can't help it.
Yeah, you're in a goofy mood today. You won't be after this story. Let's start off with a little COVID talk. Alaska, our former home. Both me and Justin lived there for 15 years plus.
Yeah, I was there about 25 total.
Were you there that long?
Yeah, and then also, actually about 30 years total of my life in Alaska because I was there as a little kid too. So,
Well, I had a newspaper there for many, many years, so I like to stay on top of things there. I still have many friends there, and I talked to my good friend Patty, and he tells me, how bad are things in Portland? Y'all got to wear masks? We don't wear masks in Alaska. Everybody's just living their life as normal. Well, it looks like at the end of the tourism season, Alaska's having a massive outbreak of COVID cases due to the Delta variant. Check these numbers out and check out what's going on in this state. It's a catastrophe. The state is averaging 117 new cases a day for every 100,000 people, more than any other state in the nation.
especially since they're under 1 million population. They're like 600,000 people in Alaska.
So the figure shot up by 42% in the last 2 weeks and more than 20-fold since early July. They've allocated, the state has $87 million in contracts to bring in hundreds of temporary healthcare workers. That's how dire things are. The governor, Mike Dunleavy, a Republican, said hospitals are strained. He's encouraging people who have not received the vaccine to get it. Oh, now you're encouraging them. What the heck was taking you so long? They're under 45% fully vaccinated in that state, compared with 55% nationally. Jared Kosin, I'm using the New York Times story here, the head of Alaska State Hospital and Nursing Home Association, called the surge crippling. And workers in the hospitals emotionally depleted. Patients, get this, are being kept waiting for care in their cars, outside of emergency rooms. And by the way, it's in the 30s there in the morning. They have snow.
Yikes.
It can't get any worse than what's going on. Patients are flooding into hospitals in Anchorage who are seriously ill from all over the state, which includes, of course, Native Americans living in the rural areas where you can only get to Anchorage via a plane. Why weren't the Alaska natives first in line to get full vaccination, given their isolation and dense rural populations in their villages? You know that if they had Delta variants or any COVID breakouts going on in those villages, it would be catastrophic. There should have been a massive push to vaccinate them. And that obviously hasn't taken place. So they're flying out in the planes sick with COVID, trying to get to hospitals around the state, particularly Anchorage. They can't move in a car down a highway to the next town over. They have to get in a boat or a plane to find their way to one nearby city like Fairbanks for help. That is just an oversight and a complete irresponsible act and lack of leadership from the health authorities there and the governor. I don't know what they were thinking. They were just waiting for something like this to happen by not being proactive. Meanwhile, in Canada, the Yukon Territory, British Columbia, no severe outbreaks. They have stricter protocols for travel restrictions throughout the summer. Dumbasses, dumb. Man, what a crisis going on there. They thought they were going to be immune from this.
I know. That's crazy. We had a little technical problem at the beginning of the show. The graphics weren't working. It was like stuck. So I apologize, everybody.
No biggie. Well, there you go. That's an update from Alaska. What's going on in Oregon, right? When I see stories like this and I want to see what's going on in Oregon, I go to our little map here to see how vaccinations are going in the country. It's a wonderful little map provided by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And it's on the New York Times website. So I constantly go to, all right, let's go to let's go to Clackamas County, 18 plus age group, fully vaccinated, 70%. Not bad. Multnomah County leads the state, of course, and where Portland is based. We have 80% fully vaccinated, 18 and older. 94%, 65 and older. And 12 and older, 79%. Let's call it 80% too. And the state as a whole is heading towards 70% when I was looking at some numbers here. Yeah, let's take a look at the, I was taking a look at states because we're at that point now where we should start seeing some serious full vaccination numbers. And when I look at it, Vermont has always been leading. They have 79% of their population fully vaccinated, 18 and older. So where does Oregon stand now with our strict mandates of masks? 70%. The state population fully vaccinated, 18 and older. That number really jumped up over the last month. 77% in the state, at least one vaccination. So we're getting up there with our full vaccination. There must have been a huge jump in the rural counties where they were reluctant. 18 and older. So are we getting to a point where we can get rid of the mask mandates? If you're looking at 20% or less in this Multnomah County, haven't we done our job? Can't we relax mask mandates? Do we still have to ask people for vaccination cards going into restaurants at some places, and some places they don't? I think we can all relax a little bit. I mean, what do they want? 90%? Is that the number to get rid of mask mandates and act normal again? I mean, if you do the job and we get are they worried about people coming in with the virus? The tourism season's over. We're now into fall. I'd like to say, I know caution is good, but I think mask mandates, though necessary in closed environments with lots of people, maybe, but walking into restaurants and bars with 80% fully vaccinated, so you're worried about less than 20%, say, coming in that aren't vaccinated, but take the percentage of them who might have a virus. It's got to be a minute number. There's a point you get to where you have to say the job has been done, people. We are fully vaccinated at a safe percentage. Hawaii has 90% at least one dose, which means when I see at least one dose, that means you're heading towards 90% fully vaccinated because they're going to get the second dose. They're at 68% fully vaccinated. So when I look at the one dose numbers, that's where we're heading for full vaccination. So the state of Oregon is heading to 80% fully vaccinated, 18 and older. And if you look at all the states going down, everybody's doing pretty good, except when you get into the southern states. Arkansas is 54% fully vaccinated, 18 and older. Why the hell is the U.S. Virgin Islands only at 53%? Wouldn't you think that on islands they would be at the highest vaccination rate, given the density of people on an island you cannot get off of unless you fly or take a boat? I would think islands really would be pushing it. And the least number of vaccinated, West Virginia, 48% fully vaccinated, 18 and older. Get it together, people. What in the hell is taking so long for some of these bottom dwellers here for vaccinations? Wyoming, 50%. So there we have it. We're heading in the right direction, though. And I would like to see some of the public officials and the medical authorities in the state of Oregon saying, you know what, we have set this number for full vaccination before so we can relax mandates. We should be getting there, but nobody's talking about it. Are we going to be doing this like till the end of the year, no matter what the numbers are? What if we're at 90% still? Come on. Let's stop. At that point, people, it's their choice, right? To maybe be at risk at 10%. If we're all fully vaccinated, pretty much. It's a choice then. It doesn't have to be a mandate. I like my personal freedoms to return at one point in this thing. Speaking of the Delta variant, this interesting story came out about Moderna and Pfizer BioNTech and the efficacy of each shot. And they have more data on this. So right now, roughly 221 million doses of the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine have been dispensed in the United States compared to 150 million doses of Moderna's vaccine. However, from a study that was done on both vaccinations, they found the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine effectiveness at 88.8% compared to Moderna's 96.3%. So if you got Moderna, like moi, you're doing a little bit better for protecting yourself from hospitalization and serious illness. They're both doing great. Now, it's not to say, oh, I got the Pfizer BioNTech. It's a lot less effective. No, it's still really strong at 88% from serious illness or hospitalization. However, Pfizer BioNTech vaccine against hospitalization fell from 91% to 77%. So serious illness, they're doing well at 88% overall. But for hospitalization, 77% compared to 91% that they thought it was at 4 months ago. These numbers change, but I got to believe they're pretty accurate at this point. So for symptomatic infections, 95% Pfizer BioNTech effective, 94% Moderna. A little slight difference there. That's for efficacy against symptomatic infection, which means you might show symptoms, but it's not affecting you too much. Subtleties over time, they've found out. Still great, either one. Antibodies still getting produced by the body by both at a very large number of percentage. Better than any other shots in the world. And one doctor said, for comparison, there is more than 100-fold difference in the antibody levels among healthy individuals. Still, other experts say the corpus of evidence pointed to a disparity that would be worth exploring, at least in people who respond weakly like weak, to the vaccines, including older adults and immune compromised individuals. Pfizer, by the way, went with a 30 microgram shot dose. Moderna, 100 micrograms. Interesting. The larger dosage by Moderna produced better effects against the disease. So the question is, how much do we do for a booster? If Moderna gave 100 micrograms and Pfizer did 30, how much do you need for a booster? Do you do 10 micrograms with Pfizer and less with Moderna? So these are the things they're trying to figure out now. As we all maybe need a booster. Right now they're saying immune deficiency people or immune compromised people and people over 65 first in line for booster shots 6 months after the Pfizer-BioNTech shot. That's where they're headed right now. And there you have it. Are we clear? Do we understand where things stand?
Clear.
All right. So that's all I'll say today about COVID as we keep up to speed on everything. Let's switch gears and talk a little bit about college. Thought this was very interesting. Check it out. Top colleges in America. They're usually the same ones every time they do these surveys. This is the Wall Street Journal. The top 3, Harvard University, of course, is always at the top.
Harvard.
Stanford is second, MIT third, rounding out top 3 rankings.
Nerds. Nerds. You're a bunch of nerds.
You're just
We love you, though.
jealous you didn't go to a good college. Like myself, the University of Maine, Orono, didn't even show up in the top 500. I'm ashamed to be an alumni. Still did a good job training me in journalism. Thank you. So these are the top colleges. Overall, they all have different rankings for certain criteria, such as top schools for student outcomes. Princeton University first, Yale University second, Duke University third, and Harvard, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and Stanford also in third place. So they had different criteria, but overall, the top 10 in America: Harvard, number 1, Stanford University, number 2, MIT, 3, Yale University, 4, Duke University, 5, Brown University, 6, California Institute of Technology, 7, Princeton University, 8, tied for 9, Johns Hopkins University and Northwestern University. And then you have Cornell University, the University of Pennsylvania, Dartmouth College. This one I wasn't expecting. The University of Chicago, number 14.
Interesting.
And Vanderbilt University out of New York, number 15. So I, of course, being based in Portland, Oregon, I was like, all right, where do the Oregon colleges show up? Let's take a look.
Look at the hippie colleges and then see what happens.
All right, Mr. McDonald, which one was the first college to round out the best colleges in Oregon? Which is the best college in Oregon? It's very nearby.
Very nearby.
You know it.
Portland State?
No.
Oh, Reed College?
You got it.
All right. Cool.
Number 92 in the rankings. Beautiful college. Campus is gorgeous. Right, at number 147, Willamette University out of Salem, Oregon. Didn't expect that one. I'm not too familiar with Willamette University. And this one really surprised me. I'm just not up on all the better colleges in Oregon. Linfield College in McMinnville campus, McMinnville, Oregon, number 160 out of the 500 they rated. At number 187, the University of Portland in Portland, Oregon. I was wondering where the Eugene campus would show up. It still isn't there. Number 234, Lewis and Clark College in Portland. Number 241, the University of Oregon, Eugene, shows up at 241 ranking. And then Oregon State University at 310 in Corvallis. And finally, Pacific University at number 349 in Forest Grove, which is near you, right?
Right next door.
We did have one more from Oregon that I almost overlooked here. Need I not forget? Actually, two more. This is another one. I wasn't familiar with this guy either. Oh, this gal college. Number 401, George Fox University, Newberg, Oregon.
Yep, George Fox.
And finally, as I said, round out my last one here at number 401, Portland State University, right here in the great city
Go Vikings.
of Portland.
Go Vikes.
So there you have it. The colleges and ranks in America. Like I said, my college didn't even show up in the top 500. University of Maine, Oregon. What the heck? A lot of colleges in Massachusetts. I think that out of all the states, they dominated probably the most colleges in the top 500 ranking. Little state, a lot of colleges. There's over 100 colleges, I believe, in Massachusetts.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of mass holes.
Hey!
Hey.
Watch out.
Hi-oh.
Little tidbit news here for you.
Okay.
I was looking at these numbers. Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, the soccer player, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Citizen Smith's tidbits.
Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, world-renowned soccer players, also the highest paid athletes in the world. Soccer. How much do you think these two dudes make every year now?
$1 gajillion.
This is the Forbes magazine crunching the numbers of athletes. And the players that we're talking about total a staggering $585 million in pre-tax earnings this season.
Damn.
Pays to know how to play football, or soccer as it's known. Cristiano Ronaldo, now at Manchester United after leaving his other team there that he was famous for, is making $125 million now in total earnings. This guy's 36 years old. This is his new contract earnings. And he's making just a little less than, he's making a salary of this 1 year, $70 million net. Oh! We think we're paying our quarterbacks in the NFL a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of euros or whatever.
Jeez, that's big numbers. You know who the top athlete in the world is? Roger Federer, $90 million.
Tennis.
Yep. LeBron James, $65 million. These are annual. Tiger Woods still up there, even though he's not playing. $60 million. So they get their sponsorship with their earnings from playing. Obviously, Woods is making it from sponsorship. $60 million just sitting on his butt with sponsorships coming in.
Well, doesn't he have to pay his ex-wife $10 million a month or some crazy thing?
I'm not sure. Lionel Messi, 34 years old, soccer player, making $110 million this year. 110. $75 million in wages. $35 million in commercial endorsements from Adidas and Pepsi, among the many brand partners with him.
I score a goal and drink a Pepsi.
These guys are up in age, too. Soccer used to be, once you get over 30, you're done. These guys are playing into their mid-30s. I love this kid. Number 4, Kylian I don't know how to Mapapi or something. NBA PPE. He's another soccer player, 22 years old, making $43 million a year.
Wow.
Just a kid. So when we look at our NFL, and they get really beaten up in that sport, and their careers only last through their 20s. You don't get into your mid-30s in the NFL unless you're a QB.
average career for NFL is like 3.5 years.
I should have started playing soccer instead of football when I was young. They didn't have a youth league. Damn, I could have been a professional player making millions. I could have done it.
You'd be retired by now. Makes me miserable.
Miserable.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of miserable, ladies and gentlemen, I now introduce you to my friend, Mr. Miserable, who left a message on my phone. This is our special feature of Mr. Miserable in Alaska.
Oh, Mr. Miserable. And what's his name again?
No, we just call him Mr. Miserable. Okay?
Okay, here we go. I'll play it here. Here we go. Mr. Miserable.
Why does God hate me so much? Why does the Lord Jesus despise me? Why am I never forgiven? Why am I always filled with sin? These are questions I ask myself every night before I go to bed when I live here in this fucking deplorable state called Alaska.
Wow, that's a bad day.
Yeah, that's a bad day.
I feel sorry for him because he's so miserable. But there's nothing I can do. Misery must end with oneself.
Oh, boy.
That was a little dark.
That was really dark.
But funny. I got that message on myself. I'm like, ooh, got to put that one on Mr. That's a Mr. Miserable segment if I ever heard one. Righto. All right, let's finish off today's show with a little talk about Netflix, the greatest entertainment story in our lifetime, right? This guy, I forget the owner's name. Who's the owner of Netflix? Anyway, he tried to sell Netflix to Blockbuster Video, and they turned down
I remember that. I remember that.
Now the greatest entertainment venue and movie making, TV making platform in the world, or at least in America.
They got a little competition, though, you know? There's a lot of great shows coming out on Apple TV and Hulu.
Well, the Emmy Awards, they cleaned up 44 Emmys, Netflix, this year.
Well, yeah, when you got a million shows, yeah, I get you.
Well, they're doing some real quality stuff. Now they just made a big purchase of Roald Dahl Story Company. He's the guy who wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Matilda. UK-based company, they bought it so that they can make movies and TV series and utilize all the creativity of Mr. Dahl's books, which are sold globally over 300 million. Netflix started collaborating with Roald Dahl Story Company 3 years ago and is ready and already working on a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory TV show, as well as a Matilda musical.
Oh, my God.
Mr. Dahl was born in Wales in 1916 to Norwegian parents. He served in Britain's Royal Air Force in World War II before establishing himself as one of the world's most successful children's authors. He passed away at 74 in 1990. Some people came after him. His family apologized for what they said were anti-Semitic remarks made by Mr. Dahl in a 1983 magazine interview, while urging audiences to remember that the writer had, quote, positively impacted young people for generations. This comes on the heels of the announcement by Netflix in July. It had added 1.5 million subscribers, but lost 400,000 subscribers also in North America. So there's a battle on for the streaming audience.
It's a battle.
But I look forward to those shows and other products coming out. And I love Netflix, man. I just think they're doing incredible creative work, both on the movie side, the TV side. The documentaries they make are just spot on. Yeah. I watched the Schumacher documentary recently, a few days ago, and had no idea the Grand Prix champion himself from Germany ended up having a ski accident.
Yeah.
And paralyzed. Still alive, but
good flick though.
That shocked me when I came across when that happened. I had no idea.
Pete Lee commented, I want to see a Netflix release, Citizen Smith Tokyo Drift. I thought that was funny.
Thank you, Pete.
And then he had one more. Let's see, Citizen Smith Unplugged. Hashtag bongo time.
Aha. Sounds good. Could use the money. All right. Well, that does it for today's show. A little bit of everything for you on this Thursday program. You can listen to it on replay at Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, and many other platforms, and YouTube video and Facebook, our page, Twitch, Twitter, and of course, our website, talkcastpdx.com.
Yay.
Thank you for joining me today. Have a great day. Beautiful weather still in the great city of Portland. Enjoy it.